Welcome to this crash course in getting started with Canva. In the next 10 minutes or so, I'm going to walk through how to start using templates, how to create your own designs, how to edit them, even how to create videos and animations right within Canva. I've already signed up for an account, which in the next section, you'll see me walk through each aspect of this quick crash course in much more detail. But as a new student wanting to learn Canva, you might want to just jump right in and start creating, and that's what this lesson is all about. From the home page, you can find templates for any kind of design. Here you can click docs, whiteboards, presentations, great for things like slideshow, social media, which is what many of us will be creating graphics for. And then you can scroll down and you can find popular sizes. So you can find square posts, it shows the resolution below it, Facebook posts, stories, etc. Or you can continue to scroll and find actual templates. So let's just click see all for Instagram posts. And even though it says Instagram, it's a square template that you could use for all kinds of things. And then you can find one that works for you. Some of these are going to be pro templates, and that's the paid Canva account. We can filter those out by choosing price and choosing free. And now we know any of these we can get started with and use ourselves. And once you've found one that you like, just click on it and it's going to ask you to customize this template, and then it's going to open it up in the Canva editor. You can also create a design from scratch with any size you want by clicking create design and choose custom size, and then you could input the width and height that you want. The other thing you can do is you can search for content. For example, maybe I need a birthday invite. I can search for birthday invite, and then those templates will start to appear. So I like this one over here. So if I click on this, don't get confused by this print with Canva option, because for certain templates, you have that option to actually print out cards and things like that. But really, if I just want to send this via email or social media or text or whatever, we can still customize this template and save it as an image. We can go print it ourselves somewhere else, etc. Once you have a design open, this is our canvas. This is where we can edit everything. On the left-hand side, notice that we have different tabs where we can add text. We can find different elements like shapes and graphics and stickers, photos and videos. Back in the design tab, if you are in any project under templates, you can see other templates that fit this size. So say you started liking this one, but you're like, actually, I think I'm going to go a little bit more classy. I can click on that template and it will automatically change to that template. I can undo that by clicking this button up here. Now there's so much you can do with Canva, but most of you are probably just wanting to know, how can I swap this image? How can I change this text? Maybe adjust the colors and the sizing of things. So to do that with text, pretty much like any other text editor, you can click into this text. I'm going to put in my name, and then we want to swap this image. So we can go to uploads. We can upload a photo of ourselves. And I can click and drag and drop it right into this little frame. Now, once that photo's in there, I need to make an adjustment to the positioning of it. So I can double click and I can move photos within a frame. There's lots of cool editing tools as well to make this photo black and white. I'm going to also adjust the size. So I'll make this a little bit bigger so I'm more centered in this bubble frame. I can select this king's crown, I could move it around, and now I want to edit this photo. So to edit any layer, there are all kinds of options up in the toolbar. Your standard text editing options like fonts, size, color of your text, positioning, effects, and all kinds of things. And similarly for photos, I have an edit photo option. Here, there's so many things. We see this later on in the course, but under filters, we can scroll down and find a mono filter like film or noir, classic, something like that. Or we can edit this from scratch by going to our adjust sliders and go down, and we're going to drop our opacity to black and white, and then maybe just go back up to our light settings and make everything a little bit brighter to get that sort of softer vibe. Maybe bring our blacks down just to give it that sort of flat, matte sort of style, matching what was originally there. We can adjust the colors of things. So these little lines that are coming out from the photo, maybe we want to change it to something more colorful. So if we select that color option, there's different ways to find colors. There's some default colors that Canva has here. We can choose colors that were within the photo we added to this design, or we can click and create any color here with this color picker up here. And now we can find the color that we think stands out or works the best. That's kind of a nice color. Now, if we want to match that color with of these lines, we can select the color, and that color appears here because it's now in our document colors, making it super simple to adjust the color of anything, text, lines, graphics, etc., with a couple clicks. So this is looking great, but I want to add one more element to it. Let's go to our elements, and I'm going to search for roller skates. Maybe this is a roller skating party. Now pops up graphics, photos, videos, but I want to look at graphics, so I'm going to see all for graphics, and I'm trying to find something that matches the style of this design already, something a little bit more chunky, maybe this one here. So I've added this by just clicking onto it, and it adds to our design, and I can resize it, reposition it, and that's good, but the colors are off. This yellow doesn't match this yellow. So I can change those colors by selecting this color up here and choosing the yellow from our crown. Maybe I want the highlight and edges to be black instead of this blue, so I'm going to select that blue and choose black, and now it starts to fit in a little bit more with our design. Maybe change that green to the purple. The pink's pretty nice still, so I'm going to leave that like so. I might want to duplicate this, maybe put another skate somewhere. So maybe I want to put a skate kind of up here in the background. So to adjust the positioning or layering of an image or graphic, just select position, and we can move backwards or jump to the back. And maybe we even want to blend this into the background and just drop that transparency quite a bit, just to add sort of that cool element of something in the background, but not overtaking our design. So that's under transparency, and transparency is available for any layer. So once you've adjusted your design and you want to share it with the world, the easiest way to do this is by clicking share and downloading it to your device. So you'll click download, and now you can choose PNG is great because it's super high quality. The file size is going to be a little bit bigger, and you might want to change that to JPEG. The quality is still going to be high, but the file size is going to be lower. With a pro account, you can adjust all of these things and customize them. But all I'm going to do is click download now, and I'm going to save this. And now I have this invite ready to share with the world as a JPEG image. What if we want to post this to social media and add some animation to it? This is simple to do with Canva. So if I select any of these elements or just the background by selecting that background, I can choose animate, and our page animation options show up. So I can hover over any of these animations. Party is pretty cool. And when I click on it, it applies this animation to this page. I can choose to have it animate just at the beginning, at the exit, or both. Now, if I want to customize an individual animation, I can click on that element, and then I can change how I want it to appear. Do I want it to pop or wipe? I can scroll down for more. I can have it drift, or I can have it animate after the entrance. If I scroll all the way down, we have these motion effects like wiggle or flicker or rotate. or pulse, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to have that pulse there, and I'm also going to add pulse to this skate down here. So select that skate, add pulse. Now to preview what this looks like, we can click this preview button up here, and we can see what this would look like throughout the entire animation. It's 5 seconds right now, and we see that because it says 5 seconds. If we want to adjust the timing of this, we can click this edit timing button and make it shorter, for example. And now it's 3 seconds. A little bit shorter. And to export this as a video, we can click share, download, and then we need to change the file type to MP4 video or animated GIF. So animated GIFs are great for sharing in text messages, emails, putting on a website, and the animation will just run continuously versus an MP4 will be a video file. And on some social platforms like Instagram or Facebook, if you post an MP4 video, it might automatically play. However, it might not repeat on some platforms. And that's where an animated GIF might be the better option. It really depends on where you are sharing it. So I'm going to save it again as my skating party. And now we can see my animated GIF and see how it animates right here. So this might be something that you post as a story or a reel on social media and share it with your friends. Obviously, not necessarily a birthday invite, but using a Canva template like this and animating it for any kind of purpose. I'm sure this video is getting a little bit longer than 10 minutes now, but I quickly just want to show you some other things that you're probably wondering about, like text. So I'm going to go ahead and click presentations and then just create a blank 16:9 presentation. When I'm on the design tab, again, we have our templates here. So we can search for any kind of slideshow, for example, clean, modern slideshow, and it will pop up with templates for us. So maybe we want something colorful like this. If I click on this presentation, we can add all 11 pages. So I'm going to do that for you to see. So now we have all of these pages that we can edit, or I'm going to undo that and I'm just going to select one of them. So say we just want this one here, and then we can add a page and we can choose the specific one that we want. Maybe we want to duplicate this page. For example, maybe we've adjusted some things. Fills slideshow. We add our points and we want to duplicate this page. We can easily do that with this page selected in our pages mode by selecting it and pressing Command D. That'd be Control D on a PC, or just hovering over this menu and choosing duplicate page. Now, if you're not in that pages view and you're on this view, then there's another way to do that by clicking this duplicate page up here. And that adds another page to our slideshow. Let's add some text. Maybe we want to add a little website URL down at the bottom left. So you can choose the text option over here. There's a lot of preset combinations that you can just click and it will add that text to your design. But if we just want some basic text, just click add a heading. We can move this heading around and we can add our website, for example, videoschool.com. We're going to adjust this text box and the size just by clicking and hovering over the edge of the box, or we can adjust all of this up here in our toolbar. For example, we can type in a specific font size. We can adjust the alignment so it's to the left of this text box. We can adjust the colors, maybe something a little bit different, maybe just like a dark gray might be cleaner. We could even adjust the transparency, so maybe let's just make this a little bit blend into the background, which might work if we have like an image or something in the background. And now if we put this on this bottom left corner of this page, what we can do is we can copy it, just Command C on a Mac, Control C, go to our next page and paste it, Command V, Command V. And that's an easy way to start adding things from one page to a next. And then if we just duplicate this page, obviously it will still be there in the bottom left corner for our next slide. Say we want to add an image to this slide. Let's go to Elements. Let's search for an image. I'm searching for an image of Hawaii. Many of these images might be pro, so it's going to have a watermark if you add it to your slideshow. See that watermark? Unless you have a pro account, or you can choose a free one. By simply clicking an image, it will add it to our slides. What if I want it to be the background or take up the full page? I can click and drag it, and once you get to this spot where it kind of looks like that, you just drop it, and now it covers the whole page, but it's still above some of the elements. So I can just go to position and choose to the back. And maybe I drop the opacity of this because I just want it to sort of subtly be there in the background. However, what if I want a photo that's in sort of a little circle or in a shape? We can go back to our elements and go down to frames. And here we have all sorts of frames that we can look at. Or you can literally just search for something like blob frame. And these frames will pop up that have these like organic shapes that kind of go along with our shapes that we have here. And now back where our elements are, we have our recently used photos, and we can drop that photo right into that frame, and we can make any adjustments to it there. All right, so you would go through, edit your slides, and once you're done, you can save it as a PDF. So share, download. Here you would choose PDF standard, unless you're sharing it for print, or if you want to download a PowerPoint, you can do that as well. Or if you want to just export them as individual images, or just pick one of these and export it as an image, you can choose that one. But I'm going to go ahead and save it as a PDF, and I'm going to choose all pages and click download. And now we have this slideshow ready to go. There is so much more you can do with Canva, and you're going to learn it in this course. And in the next section, we're going to sort of back up, and if this crash course felt a little quick, we're going to walk through each step of the process, from setting up your account, starting a new project, using templates, using all of the different elements, using the toolbar and everything else, even diving deeper into video, as well as the AI tools that Canva has in their Magic Studio. We're going to take a peek at that. That's all coming up in the next section, but for now, I hope this helps you sort of just jump in and get started using Canva. Thanks for watching, and thanks for being here, and we'll see you in the next lessons. Welcome to this new section on getting started with Canva. The first thing you'll need to do if you don't already have one is sign up for an account. There's a free option and a pro option. There's also Canva options for teams and enterprise. I'm guessing you're going to be using this by yourself at first. However, I can say that some of the team options are very helpful when wanting to collaborate with people that you want to work with, and you can just share and work on the same designs from across the world. The main differences you can see if you go over to plans and pricing and then compare pricing. You'll see some of the pro options that we'll be teaching in this class. There are more templates, more stock elements, more tools like removing backgrounds, which I actually use a lot in my designs. However, to get started, you have a ton of great options. So what you'll want to do is just click get started and then go through and sign up with your email address or one of your other logins. And if you've just signed up for the first time and you log in, you'll come to a page that looks something like this. Now, Canva is always changing, so new templates, new features are being added all of the time. However, it should look something like this, where on the left you have your home page. You can go through and look at past projects, jump right into searching for templates, and much more. Now, if I scroll down on templates, I just want to show you really quickly, if there's this little crown icon, that means it's a pro template and you'll have to upgrade to access that. I've switched over to my personal account that I've been using that is a pro account, and I just want to show you here within Canva. I'm sort of jumping ahead, but there's so many different elements that you might want to use, and don't worry, we'll go into all of this, but we'll just search for artist. And here we see graphics, photos, videos, all kinds of things. And some of these also have that pro icon. So you're going to see this as a free member, and you can add these to your design. It just will have a watermark that you'll have to upgrade to remove. One other thing I want to show you that the Pro membership has is the brand kit. And this is something that if you're going to be using Canva a lot, it might be worth it. Here you can set up multiple brand kits that have things like logos, it has colors, fonts that you like, any kind of element that you might be using often, and it will be easily accessible whenever you're working on a project. So that's something to consider that is super helpful. We'll look at setting this up in a future lesson. But for now, I'm going to take a step back, and in the next lesson, we'll learn how to start a project from scratch, also how to pick and choose between different templates and sizes. I'll see you there. How do you get started with a project in Canva? Well, it's super easy. On the home page, there's all of these templates. They give you some ideas here, or you can just filter through template type up here, where you can find the different sizes. So for example, under social media, we might have a square Instagram post, one that's perfect for Facebook, Instagram stories. And the cool thing about Canva is that these sizes and dimensions, aspects, it all gets updated when these social media platforms update what their standard size or resolution is. So super helpful. The other way to start a design is to click the Create a Design button up here. And once you start working on designs and using Canva, it will have the ones that you use most often up here, or down below you can choose a custom size or import. So importing, you'll upload something like a photo and it will just create a template or a project based off of that. Let's just go ahead and click the Instagram post, which will create a blank template for a square Instagram post. And now it opens up the blank project. The first thing you might want to do is give your project a name. So I would title this whatever you want. And now if we go to our home page or log in again, under projects, we will see that square Instagram post. Let me show you how to start a design from scratch. So again, going up to create design, custom size. Now we can put in any custom size. You could change it from pixels to inches, millimeters, centimeters. So for example, maybe I know I want to design something that's 8 by 10. This is a standard print size for photos and frames, so maybe I want to print something out for a frame. Or for example, I know something that's going to go in a video of mine, so 1920 by 1080 is a standard video size. And then once you're happy with your size, just click Create New Design. And the last thing I'll show you is if you are opening up a template, just to show you what happens if you click on templates and then you find a template that you like. They have filters, they have all these different styles and filters up here as well. So maybe we find something like this one here and you click on it, you click customize, and then it's going to open up that Instagram post pre-populated with all of that information here that can be easily customized later on. So those are 3 of the ways to create a new project in Canva from scratch, with a template, or with a blank canvas using a standard template size. We'll jump into this layout and understanding what's going on this page in the next lesson. In this lesson, you're going to feel comfortable navigating this design page. So we have our canvas here in the middle where we're going to be working on our social media post that we created in the last lesson. Over on the left, you can see all of these tabs. So we have our design, elements, text, brand, uploads, draw, projects, apps, etc. There's so much here, and we're going to cover most of it in this class, but we're going to start with the most important things in this section. So let's just throw in a template for now, because we saw that you could start a project from a template, but you can actually add a template or change it after the fact here. So here under this design, under templates, we see all the templates that fit this size. Some of these templates will be video templates, and you can see that with the little play button, and just hovering over that gives you a preview of what that looks like. Some will be the pro option, which we can't use. And once you find one that you like, you can just click on it and it will apply over here. Canva will now actually show you some additional templates like this one that you might want to play around with, and just clicking on it will apply it over here on the right side. Now over here on the right in our design, we have all of these elements from this template that are already on our project, and clicking any of them will give you some different options up here in our toolbar. Another important thing to know is that you can add a page to this design like this by clicking that add page, and now we can either add that same template here or maybe a different one, and we can edit these two pages on the same project. It doesn't mean that we have to export or save these together as some sort of like combined image. It just is an easy way to stay organized. For example, I have one of these projects like this that has a dozen or so templates that I use for YouTube thumbnails. However, it could also be used to create a slideshow or a series of posts. And if you want to get even more advanced, you can actually create videos or animations in this way that combine all of the slides. To zoom in to see more, you can use this bar down here. To see all of the pages of a design, you can click this to see the grid view, and then you can just double click into one of them or click this one again to close the grid view. To view it full screen, to get a good preview, you can click that full screen button down there. We'll be looking at adding all of these different types of elements in the next lesson, but if you are happy with your design or just need some more space to look at this and work with it, you can close any of these panels down by clicking this little arrow button. Up at the top, we have our file menu that has a lot of options for sharing, importing, creating a new design. You have this resize and magic switch option, which is great. It is a pro feature, but it can automatically adjust your designs to a different format. You have an undo and redo button up here, but you can also just use your Command or Control Z if you're on a PC keyboard shortcut to do that. And then in the top right, you have a share button where you could share access to it with a team member, or you can share a public view link so that someone can preview it if they're working with you, but not necessarily in Canva. You also have all of your download and share on social options we'll see later on. So that's sort of an overview of the design page. Next, we're going to look at how to add all of these different elements and start working with our layers in the next lessons. See you there. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to start adding elements or swapping elements with a template. So if we drop down to the elements page, you'll see that there's a number of different categories. We have shapes, graphics, stickers, photos, etc. And to see more of them, you can just click on the See All. Within each category, there are subcategories and there's collections and all kinds of stuff. The way that I personally use elements is often by searching. For example, I might like this template, but I might want to change up the photos. So maybe I type in skateboarding, and now we have under skateboarding search, we have graphics, photos, videos, and then we can click within any of those here. So here we can find an image of a skater. To add it to our design, we can click it, or if we already have an image, Canva makes it super easy to just drag and drop it into any of these photos here, and it will just swap it for us. So let's go and click back to elements. Maybe we want to add some sort of squiggle or paintbrush stroke to this image. So I'm going to search that. Now under graphics, I'm going to search for the one that I like best. There's a lot of pro ones, but I think this one's pretty cool. Now, once a new element appears on your canvas, we can move it around by clicking on it. We can resize it by hovering and clicking over it on the corner. We can rotate it by clicking that rotate button here. And we saw up here this toolbar that appears. For each type of element, we're going to have different options. But for example, for this one, we have color, and we might want to change it to something else. We're going to look in depth at changing colors in the future, but we quickly see some photo colors. So Canva actually takes colors from our images, and we can actually select that, and it kind of creates this cool vibe that's connecting everything in our image. In the same way, if we want to add text, you just click the text button. Here are a number of font combinations that they have that you can kind of use just pre-built out templates. Or if you want to add something from scratch, you can either choose add a text box or one of these styles. Typically for social media graphics, I'll be adding a heading, and you can change the style and sizing after the fact. So if you start with a subheading or a text box, you can always change the size of our text after the fact. And here we can go in, we can select our text, and we can edit it. And so maybe we add hashtag Cali, and we're going to move this around. So we're just going to click it and move it this way. We might not like that font, so we're going to drop down our font menu here, and here we could change our font. We're going to click handwriting to find something that might look a little bit more the style we're going for. And once we find the style we like, that looks pretty good, and we might want to change the color. So let's click text color, maybe pick that same brown that we added down here so it kind of matches, or you might want to pick something that's completely different so it kind of stands out from the background. That's your design choice. Now this is going to look different than if you are starting from scratch, or we click add a new page and we have this blank canvas where we can start adding elements. And in the next lessons, we're going to dive into adding text and photos and the different options for all of these different types of elements. But for now, I just want you to play around with it. See all of the options we have. We've got things like charts and tables, and if you don't see it here, all you have to do is search for it. So I'm going to give you a high five. You can see here this is a pro option, so we have that watermark, and to upgrade you can click remove watermarks or wherever to upgrade to pro. But right now I'm giving you a virtual high five because now you know how to add elements to your design. In the next lesson, we're going to dive into working with layers and more of these options up here in the toolbar for common elements. We'll see you there. In this lesson, I'm going to share some tips on working with our layers, including some more of our options up here at the top. I've opened up a new template that I like that has this image in the back. It also has this text here. And I want to add a sort of background bar or color swatch here behind the text to make it stand out a little bit more. So I'm going to go under Elements and Shapes, and I don't see what I'm looking for here, so I'm going to go back and I'm just going to search for Blob, which is under Graphics now, and I'm going to select one of these more organic shapes, something like this one. Alright, so now this has appeared on top, or it looks like in between our hello layer and our summer layer. To move this back, what we can do is go to position, and we can move it backwards, forwards, automatically to the back or to the front. And you'll notice that it doesn't go behind this photo. This photo is placed as a background photo, so the positioning of this shape or this text doesn't affect it. Now, if we did have a separate photo within this graphic, it would be a layer itself. We also have these options here for align to page. For example, let me just resize this a little bit. I'm going to actually change the color. So clicking color, let's just change it to something a little bit more fun. One of these preset colors. And now if I go back to position, you can see if I put it to the right, middle, left, etc., it will automatically place it at any of those parts of the page. So if you want it exactly in the center of a design, click middle, center, and it will do that. And now since we know that is in the middle and center, we might want to adjust some of these other things. You'll also notice that as you move things around your design that these little alignment layers pop up, and you can see that if I do move these elements, I can automatically see where center is. Or for example, if I click on this text now and I want to align it to the right side of where that summer text is, it pops up that line. So we have all these guides that sort of help us. So reordering the position and the alignment of a layer is super important. Another thing you might want to do is group layers. For example, if I like this summer text with this swatch behind it, I can select both by clicking and dragging over both elements and now click group. And now if I just click once on this element, it's a grouped element that I can move around, I can resize, and it all resizes together. If I want all these things to be grouped, I can select all three, or well, now the group and the hello, and it is grouped together. And then here we can ungroup them. Now to delete any of these layers, you can just click the little delete button here. A couple more style features here that you might want to be aware of are transparency. So for any layer, you have this transparency that you can drop up here. For example, we might want to select this background and make it a little bit transparent, so just so you can see the background shine through just a little bit, which I think is pretty cool. You could also flip, so any of these graphics or images you can flip. So say we want to add sort of a shadow effect, we can duplicate this summer layer, we can change the color, we can now flip vertically, and then let's drop the transparency, and we're going to adjust the rotation, and it kind of looks like we now have a little shadow on our beach. Now I want to go and make this look a little bit better, and I'm getting a little bit advanced here, but for most layers or graphics, we have this edit option here, and here we have effects, we have adjustments, but the one I'm looking for under effects is a blur. So now we can sort of blur this out and make it look more like a shadow. So I know I'm getting a little bit advanced here, but hopefully that's the kind of stuff you want to learn here in this class. I'm skipping over the text options up here because we have a full lesson on that coming up. But I do want to show you one more thing that we haven't looked at, and that's frames. So if I click on elements and then I go down to frames or grids, you see there, we have these frames that we could add images into. So let me just select this one here, and now we can go and find a photo. And now I'm going to search for dreaming and look at our photos. I'm just going to drop this photo into this frame. So you click and drag it into the frame. If it's not in the right position, you can double click, and now we can resize the photo within the frame, rotate it, scale it, etc. And now we have this photo in this frame that we can move around. We can now adjust the size of the frame by clicking over the corner and adjusting it, or even the width or height of this frame like this. And similarly, we have our transparency up here if we want to make that a little less transparent. But here again, we have this layering. So I mentioned that under position, now with a photo within our design, we can move it backwards to the front, align it top left, etc. All those same position options for this new photo layer. Now with this photo layer, I feel like the spacing of this design looks a little funky, so I'm going to select all of them, make them a little bit bigger, something like that. And now that means I need to make my summer shadow text a little bit bigger as well. And those are some basic options for working with layers. The last thing I want to share with you is this lock feature. So once you are done with a design, you might want to lock the whole design and I can't change anything. Or if I know, for example, that this summer text is going to stay here, I can lock that summer text up here in the title bar, and then unlock it. Or under this drop down, you have more options for all of these layers, things that we've already seen before. It's just another way to get to it, and we can lock. And actually locking this layer is nice because now I can get to my background layer if I need to adjust that, which was sort of hard to click on before. So now I can make any adjustments to that and not affect the summer text in the foreground. So those are some basic ways to work with layers. In the next lesson, we're going to dive deeper into text layers and working with those. We'll see you there. In this lesson, we're going to learn more about text. So before we saw this element tab for adding different styles of text and combinations that are pre-made. Clicking on this text will add it to our design. If you haven't seen this before, to change the background color of a design, just click on the background itself and click background color, and now we can adjust our background so that that pizza time sort of stands out. They also have gradients down here, which are pretty cool as well. But now our time, it doesn't necessarily stand out as much as we would want. First, I'm going to ungroup these layers so I can adjust them individually. To adjust the size of them, we have here this option here of just quickly resizing with the boundary box of our layer. We also have these handles on the right and left, which will adjust the width of the text box itself. And you can see here that if I go too far in, it starts to put our word on multiple lines. And you might want that in some cases, so knowing how to do that is good. But we could also go up here and just adjust the font size up here. So if we know a specific size we want, which is more likely if you are doing something like a slideshow or something where there's multiple pages and you want all the headers to be the same size or whatever, that's where you can adjust the font size. And you can see here for each of these layers we have all of those options. Let's dive into our font choices a little bit more because I want to change this time font. With this layer, let's go up to our font menu up here. Canva gives us a preview of what these fonts look like. You can see the other fonts that are in this document that we have, which includes all of the templates and things we've been working on so far, which is very cool, so we can quickly get back to that. It has some recommended and recently used fonts, which is great. And then we have our brand kit fonts, which is great if you have a brand kit. You can also just search down here under popular fonts, so there might be some that you find better. That one's pretty cool. Kind of like that one as well. Or you can search for a specific font or a style of font. For example, you have here like handwriting. Maybe I want it to be graffiti style. And that's what's so cool about Canva is that it can actually search based off of many different terms, and it will give you some options. Some of these fonts are paid, but you can actually filter those out with this little filter option and just turn on free fonts. All right, so now we have our text in a cool graffiti style. I want to change the color and the size, so I'm going to just make it bigger for now so you can see it more clearly. Put it on there. Now, something about this text, based off of the template I used, the letters are spaced out a bit. And you'll find that option up here in spacing where we have our letter spacing here. Sometimes you want it to be spaced out. Sometimes you might want to squeeze it a little bit, which I think for this looks a little cool. And then line spacing, that's going to adjust if you have multiple lines of text, how far apart those lines are. You could also anchor the text to the center or the top of the text box that you've created as well. So now with this text spaced a little bit better, I'm going to make it even bigger. We're going to rotate it just a little bit, maybe even rotate the pizza just a little bit like that to match. And the cool thing is we have this angle down here when I'm rotating -8, 9, 10, and that way you can rotate these the exact same angle. And once we want to, we can group these as well. I want to put time behind our pizza, so I'm going to go to position and say to the back. And then I want to change the color. So let's select that time, go to text color. We have our document colors up here that we've used in the past. And I haven't shown you this before, but if I have a color or I just want to pick a new color, I can click add a new color. And now we have all of these, this whole color box that we'll dive into more in the next lessons, but we can adjust it here. Maybe I do want it to contrast, so we can kind of just go through all of these. I mean, lime green, that's pretty wild, but pretty cool too. Now I'm getting hungry for pizza. So now we can group these, right? Say this was a poster for an actual event. Let's go back to our text. I'm going to add just a text box. So now I can show you how to add things like bullet points. So we have these bullet points. I'm going to add maybe location, time, date, etc. But this looks a little funky because our bullet points are on the left and our text is in the middle of this text box. To adjust this, we can adjust the alignment here. So you can right align, center, left align, or we have the spaced align to both sides. So I'm going to left align these. I'm going to change the size to something bigger so you can see it. And let's pick something that's not crazy, but maybe a little bit more bold or fun for this graphic. We'll work with that. Now we can see with multiple lines how spacing would adjust this text box. So we might want them to be a little bit closer together. If I just select the text box itself and adjust any of these settings up here, it's going to adjust it for everything. However, I can go in here and highlight specific text and add any sort of adjustments up here, like underlining, italicizing, etc. We also have this uppercase, which if I've clicked into a line of text, it will apply just to that text. But again, if I just am selecting that text box itself, I can choose it and it will adjust it for the full text box. And now all of our text will be in uppercase. And let's make this text white. I just think that kind of pops out just a little bit. However, it's still a little hard to see, and there's lots of ways to make it stand out more. With the color, we could add a shape behind it, or within text, we have these effects. So for any text layer, you can click effects. Here we have none on, but now we have things like shadow, lift. We can create hollow text if we want. And with any of these, we can adjust the settings. So if we want that thickness of the lines to be bigger, we can do that. A shadow might help, and we might want to change the color of the shadow down here. We can use that green from the logo above or from the text above, which can help. We can increase the transparency number so it's not as transparent. We can adjust the offset and the direction so that it kind of makes it stand out even more. We blur it out just a little bit, which is kind of cool. Maybe make it a little bit darker. So let's take this and choose the color and just bring it down just a little bit. So it's still using that color, but just making it a little bit darker. And that's for all of this text. So let's ungroup this text. And for this, maybe we will add a little neon. That's pretty cool. Make it look like it's glowing a little bit. We can adjust that glow, and that's pretty dang cool. The last thing I'll mention is that some fonts have options for bold or italics, some don't. So if I select this font, let's just change it to something a little bit more standard. You'll see that some of these fonts also have a regular or bold option. And by clicking it over here, it's automatically going to choose that bold. Here we can also now add italics. A font though like Open Sans has many options. So if we're just on Open Sans, we can turn on bold, which will make it bold. But if we want it extra bold or semi-bold, we can go into our font options over here and adjust it. All right, this is looking really great. I need to add an image of a pizza slice or something, so I search for photo of pizza. We're going to add this sort of to the background, maybe rotate it just a little bit, and then drop our opacity quite a bit to add to that pizza vibe. Cool. So that is how to work with text in Canva. In the next lesson, we'll be diving deeper into color. I'll see you there. In this lesson, we're going to look at color and some more advanced features on how to adjust colors in Canva. So I've opened up this new template. Man, I think I'm hungry or something because I keep choosing templates that have to do with food. But maybe you just liked the style of this template, or maybe you just like this text up here, but everything else you might be changing out. That's totally fine. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to switch this for another food-like item that I really enjoy, and I'm going to search for boba. I want one that doesn't have a background, kind of like this, but it's okay. For now, it's going to have a watermark, but that's okay. So let's add our little boba drink right here, like this. We're going to move these elements around. I kind of like how it's coming from the back. A little bit, maybe a little bit more spacing. Looks good. We're going to remove our little chicken right there. And then let's just change up the colors. To do that, what we could do is go to our design and style. And it has the style that's used for this design. If we want to just sort of shuffle through the colors and see if there's a different option that we like, we can just click through that. Or we have these color palettes that are down here. So we have combinations and color palettes. You could also set up your brand kit and it sort of works the same. But here now we can find something completely different and it will automatically apply colors to your design. I think for boba, something like this looks much better. Something bright, pink, fresh, fun. So that's a quick way to adjust the colors in your whole design. And I wanted to show you that because I want to help you get efficient at making designs look the way that you want them. However, if you need to dive into a specific element and change the color, we've seen our color options up here. For any element that has a color that you can change, it will appear here. And if it has two colors you can change, both of them will appear here. So this has that white background and then the foreground color as well. Maybe this background pink is not exactly the right pink we want. So by clicking on that background color, now we have all of our options here. We already saw some of this. Canva has some default colors, it has some default gradients. Here we can see that it's pulling colors from our photos. It has the colors from our document. We don't have a brand kit, so we don't have that. However, we can go in here and choose a specific color or gradient with this menu. If you have a specific hex number for your brand, or if you're just on another website looking for colors or color palettes, you can plug that in here. Or you can just drag this color picker around to a color that you might like more. Maybe we want to contrast that purpley pink with some sort of yellow. Or if there is an element in your photo, for example, say let's go ahead and grab another element. Let's add a little graphic of a cat, which we all love cats. Which who doesn't love a little cat like that? Maybe let's put that cat on a cloud. And we're going to put that cloud in the back. There we go. Maybe we'll duplicate this cloud and we'll move it over here just to kind of have that same element appear throughout our design, which is kind of cool. But now the whites on this little graphic just blend into the cloud, right? So let's change that color. And something we can do is use this eyedropper to select any color in our design. Now we could quickly choose that purple, but we've use that for the foreground, so we don't want to use that, but maybe we want to use the same exact pink of the ears of the cat. Now this cat is a graphic which not all of them are customizable, but we could actually adjust the colors of every element of the cat as well, which is pretty cool. And now that we have that pink selected, we can go to this graphic down here and change that white to the pink as well. Or maybe we want the main color to be the pink and the background to be purple. That's pretty cool. Now the white font works, but maybe we want it to have a subtle similarity to the milky boba here. So we could either use one of these colors that are here in our photos, or we can again go to our eyedropper and pick something a little lighter. Or maybe we get something that's that brownish, that creamish, but then we want to brighten it up just a little bit. We can go here in our color picker and just move it up in this box, which makes it a brighter color. I don't know about crunchy boba, so let's say more chewy, more tasty than ever. So those are some ways to adjust your colors in a more advanced way. If you want to stick with me for one more minute, I'm going to show you how I can share this project to my pro account, and I'll show you how to apply brand colors right away. So I'm going to click share. I'm going to choose anyone with a link can edit this design. You can say can view, comment, but I'm going to choose edit. And now I'm going to go over to my personal account. So now I'm on my paid account, and if I am on this design and I go to design and then styles, we have my brand kit set up already. And if I just click on that brand kit, notice how it automatically adjusts everything in this image and all the colors to match my brand kit, which is actually pretty cool. I like the cat with the teal and the green matching my brand. If I want, I can adjust the text as well to match my fonts, but I think for this graphic, that works perfectly fine. Another note I want to mention, because I did this, that pops up for certain adjustments you make over here, you'll see this apply to all pages. So we have all these pages here, and if I clicked apply to all pages, it's going to apply that font change, or if the last thing I did was the brand change, to all of our pages. So here you can see that it adjusted all of those to our brand style and colors. I'm going to undo that because I don't want it to look like that necessarily. So that's how you automatically apply your brand colors or fonts to your designs. And that's more about how you adjust colors in Canva. We're going to learn a lot more about the psychology of using colors in your designs coming up in a future section. So make sure you check that out as well, because it will really advance how you are picking and choosing your colors when creating or adjusting designs in Canva. All right, we'll see you in the next lesson with more photo editing options in Canva. In this lesson, we're going to learn how to work with photos in Canva, because it's actually a pretty powerful photo editing tool. Here I've opened up a new template. This is a YouTube thumbnail template. It already has these 3 image frames and this text as well that we can use or not use. I actually don't want to see this text right now, so what I'm going to do, this is a little pro tip, I'm going to duplicate this page so that I can save exactly where that text is for later, and then on this one page that I'll be working with, I'm going to delete it. So let's add some photos from a day in my life as if I was doing a daily vlog. And here I have a couple images. My wife and I do a lot in the yard and in our garden. This was a little flower farm tour we went on, and I added this squirrel here, although I don't think that one necessarily works for that middle image. However, I do want to show you what we can do with editing, because this center image, the colors are more vibrant and a little bit different than what we have on these outer 2 images. So that's when we would want to come in and click edit photo. So we saw some of these filters and effects, which you can go down here and quickly apply a filter if there's one that you like. or you think might look good. And for any of these filters, you can adjust the intensity down here, which is pretty cool. I'm going to click none though to get rid of that, because I want to jump right into adjust. And Canva has some pretty awesome tools that are helpful where you can adjust the whole image or the foreground or background, and it will automatically detect what's in the foreground or background. But for now, I'm just going to do the whole image. And now we have all of our typical photo editing sliders. Now, this isn't a photo editing course, so I'm not going to talk through every single one, but you have your sliders for things like the overall brightness or exposure, if you want to make it more or less contrasty, which for this image, I'm probably going to make it less contrasty to match the other photos. You can adjust individual parts of the photo, for example, the blacks or the shadows to make it a little bit more darker, or customize the contrast by making the blacks and shadows a little bit brighter. We have our color, so we can adjust the color, make it less contrasty, which I think helps with our matching our other photos. And then up above, going back to temperature and tint under white balance, now we can maybe make it a little bit more magenta and cool. Again, trying to match our other photos. And with any of these sliders, you can type a specific number here or amount. We also have adding sharpness, clarity, and a vignette to our photo here. I'm not going to do that for this photo. Now, say we think that background green is a little bit too much. I can now choose the background. It's going to assess what the background is. And now let's just maybe brighten up that background and desaturate it. And I'm telling you that Canva, for this, as well as for removing backgrounds from your subject, it does almost a better job than Photoshop. And I've used Photoshop for years, so me saying that means it's pretty impressive. And I'm using Canva more often than Photoshop now. Now, selecting this photo on the left, I just want to show you there's all these sort of AI-based Magic Studio features that are coming to Canva, and these are being added and changed all the time. But background remover, erasing individual objects from an image, expanding an image, all of this is being added, but many of them start out on the Pro account. Under filters, we skipped effects, but we have all of these other effects as well, like duotone, which gives us a cool little, well, exactly what it is, a duotone, and you can customize the colors here if you would like. We have a autofocus, facial retouching, things to check out if you're interested. So now that we've edited those photos, let's go ahead and copy this text. So I'm copying it from this page of the design, Command C or Control on your PC, and then pasting it here, which is pretty cool. Now I want that squirrel to be above our text, so I'm going to readjust this like so by double clicking into this frame and adjusting that photo so it's a little bit higher. Something like that's pretty good. I might want to adjust the sizing of a lot of these images so that it goes around our text and we can see the faces and the people, which is the most important part of this image. That's going to make it more captivating and interesting for someone to look at. I could also adjust where this text is if I need it to move a little bit down so that I can get more space in these photos. So now you know some of the tools used to edit photos right within Canva. I'm going to pause here, and in the next lesson, I'm going to do a case study to show you how I'm using Canva now to create a lot of graphics that I used to be creating in Photoshop, and it's going to combine things like editing photos. I'm going to show you how to do the background removal and use some of those pro features that Canva has available for pro members and put it all together. So I'll see you over in that lesson. In this lesson, I'm doing a little case study just to make it more practical. I'm going to show you how I can recreate this image, which was actually created in Photoshop. You can see here, this was actually something I uploaded, not from Canva. And I'm going to show you how to do this in Canva. So it's going to include things like removing the background, adding these different elements, making it pop from the background, and then adjusting the tone and contrast of my image right in Canva. So let's get going. So here I am in my Pro account, and what I want to do is create something like this image that was created in Photoshop, but using this photo right within Canva. So I can resize this, but to remove the background, you typically would have to do this with Photoshop, but now I can click Edit Photo and Background Remover. It's going to process it, and then it's going to remove that background. And it does an incredible job at that. We can click in here and we can erase things or adjust things if we need to. You can click this plus or minus and restore things from our background if we want, or erase them, but it does a pretty dang good job. Most people would never be able to know that this is from Canva versus Photoshop. Even like my hair right here, it does a good job at leaving that but removing the background. And this isn't even the best photo because it wasn't on like a clear white backdrop. It was against my wall with my door frame and everything. So now let's go ahead and change the color. So say I want exactly this color, I would probably bring this design into my image and then click on our background, and now I can just select one of these colors that it pulls from that photo, or choose our eyedropper and select that color. Now this is a square image, and this actually gives me the opportunity to show you the resize and magic switch options. So if you have a Pro account, I can resize this to any custom size. I can choose a social media size. What I want is 1920 by 1080. I'm going to continue this. And what I can do is either create a copy or resize this design itself. And now it's resized everything in here, which kind of messes up all of our other designs. But for this case, now we have the perfect aspect ratio for a YouTube thumbnail. I can go in here and look for a YouTube icon, YouTube logo, something like this. That might go in the background. A quick keyboard shortcut to move the position of an element up or down is the command. Again, that's control on a PC, and then the left or right bracket buttons that can move that up or down. Now this element in our original design stands out from the background a little bit for two reasons. One, it has a little bit more of an edge to it. So let's go ahead into this element. We're going to edit photo, and we're going to add a shadow to it. We're going to do a drop shadow over on the right hand side, so that works pretty good. We might just add a little blur to it. Something like that works. And then our image here has a little glowing circle of white behind me that separates me and this logo from the background. So in Canva, under elements, I can actually search for something like glow, for example, and they have these Pro sort of glows that I can put in the background. Let's make that bigger. I'm going to make it a little bit brighter by clicking Edit Photo. I'm going to adjust and make it lighter so it's more white, but then I'm actually going to adjust the transparency down just a little bit. And there we are, getting pretty close to what we created in Photoshop right here. The colors of my face are more contrasty and brighter, which is good for a YouTube thumbnail. Generally on social media, it pops out. So I'm going to go into Edit Photo, Adjust. I'm going to boost the contrast and the brightness. Don't want to go too crazy with it, but maybe even bring up the highlights. And maybe just drop the clarity just a little bit. It softens your skin just a little bit, which is good for portraits. So that's a practical way to edit a photo in Canva. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson. In this lesson, I'm going to show you how to set up a brand kit. From the homepage, you can click on brand, and you'll see that this is available for pro members. So I'm going to hop over to my pro account to show you how to do this. There are brand templates and brand kits. Brand templates are actual designs like YouTube thumbnails or Instagram posts or any sort of design that you create and you've used and you can save as a template. Versus a brand kit is the colors, the fonts, the logos, the assets that you want to upload that you have available for any design that you're working on. And that's what I'm showing you today. So we already saw that I have a brand kit for my video school brand, but I've also added logos for my other brand, which is Photography and Friends, which would make more sense to create as its own brand. And so that's what I'm going to do right now. Click on brand kits and then click add new, and I'm going to call this Photo Friends and create. So here in our brand kit, we could add all of our different elements. So I'm going to go ahead and add some logos. So I have several logos for the Photography and Friends brand that I'm uploading. Some that will work better on a design with a light background, some that will work better with a dark background. Now we can add our colors. So we want to add our color swatches here. Now here you're going to need to know that code for our colors so you can type it in. You could create it from scratch here, but it's more important to find the specific color. So if you don't know the color, here's a pro tip. Go up here to your logo and click Extract Color Palette, and it's going to actually apply them right here into your brand kit. Another option, if you don't have a logo or if you have other colors you use, but you created them in Canva or they're in an image or anything, you can actually open up a new project. You can go to that color, you can upload it, then add it into this design, and then go up to the color here, click on it, and now you have that specific code that you can then go back and take to your brand kit. For example, this background is a specific, not exactly black, it's like a dark gray. So I can take this code here, go back to my brand kit, we're going to select keep from that previous import, and then add a new color, and we're going to add that black. We'll call this dark gray. And we can rename any of these. So PF yellow would be Photo Friends yellow. Maybe I don't want that black actually, so we're going to remove that, and we're just going to add pure white, which is also another color we use. So we have a very simple color palette for Photo Friends. Next we have our fonts. So here they break it down for titles, subtitles, headers, etc. So within any of these you can go in and choose the font that you use. We use Railway for a lot of our designs. We use something like black for our titles. You could adjust the sizing, bold, italics, etc. for each of these, and then click the checkbox to save it. So you would want to go in through each of those. And then down below we have things like photos, graphics, and icons. If you reuse anything like that, you would want to upload those here. And then there's one other thing that you might consider if you're using the new generative AI tools that Canva has to offer, is this magic write, where it will actually generate text for you. And you could add brand voice, so you can adjust things. So say we are a photography brand, we're very friendly to beginners, or it could be we are edgy and cater towards professionals. Whatever your brand personality is, that is what you would include here. Now let's go back to our Square Instagram post, and we want to adjust these colors to match our brand. So under brand, we need to switch to our Photo Friends brand kit. It's going to change to the brand we're using, and we're going to apply these colors. So we're going to shuffle our colors in until it's something that we like. So maybe something like, I like the black background, so that's good to start. And then we can just adjust our text here and our text color to that yellow. Maybe this swish to the yellow as well. And there we go. And we have our logos we can slap on here. Maybe we want our different logo, just our little lightning bolt. So that's how you can use a brand kit in Canva. I know it's a pro feature, but I did want to cover it because it's something that can save you a ton of time. All right, thank you so much for watching, and in the next lesson we are going to get a little bit more advanced with the video features in Canva. Canva's video creator has gotten more and more powerful. You can create full-blown videos as well as just turning any design into an animated video. So what I want to do is create a vertical video great for Instagram Reels, TikTok, Facebook Stories, or YouTube Shorts as well. There's templates down below, so we can find a template. If we choose one from up above, it just creates a blank template that we can start from. I'm going down to mobile videos and I'm going to see all because many of these are pro, so I'm going to filter to free options. I'm going to choose this template over here on the right hand side, which is pretty darn cool. This would take a lot of time and effort to create myself, and then we're just going to completely customize it. So when you open up a video, you have this timeline down here. You can play through it, and then all of our different elements are going to be editable on our design. Within elements, we have videos. So if you don't have your own videos that you upload, you can find them here. So maybe we're doing a little travel reel. So let's find a few travel videos where we can literally just drag and drop them into this template and they will play as part of this template. I recently went to Hawaii, so let's make this a Hawaii travel video. All right, so I found a couple videos that work. Some are the pro videos, so you'd have to find ones that are free or upload those videos of your own if you don't want to have to pay for the pro account. Any of these videos, you can adjust the timing of them. So for example, they all start at the beginning of the videos, but maybe we want a different part of that specific video clip. So we can click on that video that we want to adjust and then go up here to the scissors and we could edit the in or the out points of the video. So maybe we want this whole video to be maybe 5 seconds long. We could find the 5 seconds of that video we want. We could find the 5 seconds of this video that we want. You can see the time up in the top left corner. And that way we're finding the exact parts of each video clip that we want. Now down here on the timeline, we want to adjust this down to 5 seconds as well. So you can see that this is actually just one part of our potential video. We can add another page here. So if we click and add a page, then we can cut to a different template, or maybe we want a full shot of something else. We could search for videos that are shot vertically, and we can now add these vertical videos. We could adjust the timing, we could add text, we could add all of it, and now our video starts to become a little bit more advanced, going from that frame template to this time lapse. Maybe we want to take some elements of this frame, so we're going to take the numbers on the side that match the film, and then we want to put this video in a frame. So we're going to search for a vertical frame. For photos or videos, it works the same. And we're going to just make this the right size. And then we're going to delete that video and we're actually going to put it in the frame. So let's find that recently used video and we're just going to put it in that frame. So now it sort of matches the style of this first video that we added. In between these two pages, we can add transitions. So we could add a dissolve, a wipe, a movement. All of this starts to get pretty advanced in terms of a video editor right on Canva. And that's one way to create videos with Canva, with this full editing toolbar. I want to show you how you can turn any other design into an animated video that might be good for posting online as well. So I'm back here on our social media post for this boba graphic. I'm actually just going to swap out that paid boba graphic for this cute little one because I want everything to be free so you can see what you actually can do for free on Canva. Now what I can do is I can animate this. So if I select any element, I can click animate, and I could choose for this specific one how to animate it in, or I can go to page animations and I can actually apply an animation to this entire page. So if I want to add this party one, we can apply it to all pages, or now it's just applied to this page. And we're going to animate both on the entrance and on the exit. Now up here for this page, if I select it, we have this timing option, and we can make it shorter or longer. And then what's cool is that there are actually stickers that are animated. So if we go to our elements, we can see our stickers. Maybe we have like these arrows, or let's just actually search for yum sticker and go to graphics and see if any of these are animated. So the sun's kind of cool. Oh, these, I like these little sort of sparkles. I'm just going to put these behind our recipe. Maybe add some down here as well. And now what I want to do is I want to add a little bit of motion to these other elements. So I'm going to select our boba here. I'm going to choose animate. And then down below, because we already have that sort of entrance animation that was applied, down below I'm going to choose wiggle. And it has like a default wiggle. If you want to adjust the intensity, it has to be a pro feature. And I'm going to add that as well to our little kitty down here. So now I want to preview what this is going to look like. To do that, we have to click this little show pages button and then choose duration. So it's kind of thinking that we're making a video with all of these slides, but really we're just working on this one right here. And don't worry, we could save this one separately, which we'll be seeing how to save in the next lesson. But now I can play through this one slide and see the whole thing. If we want to adjust the timing again, like we kind of saw before, we can adjust it, make it a little bit shorter. And now we can play and see what this little graphic's going to look like. And that's how you start to create animations in Canva. I know that this can start to feel a little complicated, but really all you need to know is that within an existing design, if you haven't animated anything yet, all you have to do is select an element and then click animate, and then you can either animate for that one element or switch over to page animations, and you can add an animation to the entire page. And again, down here, if we select on duration, we can preview this one easily by itself. Now you see this little play button up here. Now this is thinking we're combining all of these slides into one video, but because we don't have animations for these first two designs, we're not going to see that. But now we see the animations we've applied to this pizza time graphic as well as to our boba graphic. So typically you might be working on one project individually, but here in this course I'm adding all of these different slides to this one graphic. It might make more sense to stay organized to delete the ones that you're not working on. So now we can actually just preview this one up here as well. Alright, we'll see you in the next lesson where we're going to learn how to share everything with the world, download it, post to social media, all of that good stuff coming up next. In this lesson, you're going to learn how to share your document. This share button up here is the way not just to share it with someone to work on or to view, but also to be able to download it or post it directly to social media. Most of you, I'm guessing, are wanting to download whatever your designs are so that you have them on your computer, your phone, wherever, and then you can post them to social, share them in an email, post them online, whatever. To do that, you're going to click the download button, and now we have all of our download options, starting with file type. PNG is the suggested format, which is a great quality image for most designs. However, for most things that are going to be posted online, social media, YouTube thumbnails, anything like that, a JPEG is just fine. Down below, you'll see MP4 video and GIF. This is important for the animations that we created. We'll look at that next. But first, let's just go to JPEG. We cannot adjust the size or the quality of our images with a free membership. However, this is a cool feature with a pro membership where if you need to adjust the size or the quality, you can do that. Another important thing is our pages. So right now, it's going to save both of the pages on this document that we're working on, but really we just want page number 1. So we're going to select that one. And then we can save these download settings for the future so that in our next download, it's automatically going to apply this. And now we're just going to click download. It's going to process it. And then after it's done processing, it will ask you where you want to save the image. And now I have saved this image on my desktop, and it's there for me to share and upload to my daily blog video. Now, say you have worked on multiple images and you want to download them at the same time. All you would do is go back to share, download, see how it saves that JPEG option as our settings because we have that checked on. But now we want to select both of them. This is going to save them as a zipped up file that you'll have to unzip and open. Let me show you how to do that. So I'm just going to download this. And now I have in my Finder this zip file that I can double click to open. If you're on a PC, double clicking should work, or just right click that and choose open. And now I have this folder which has the images that I've downloaded, 1 and 2. Say you're working on a slideshow, and we haven't looked at slideshow templates yet, but it will work the same as this document that has 2 pages. We can save that as a PDF. So if I click share, download, change the format to PDF. PDF print is going to be a higher quality for print, but if you're just sharing online or using it as a slideshow, standard is going to be fine. And then we can choose which pages to include. We're choosing all of them, and I'm going to download this. And now it has downloaded as a simple PDF with both pages. So that's great if you are downloading a slideshow. Before we get to the videos, I do want to show you that you can click share and share on social media. So for any of these accounts that you want to hook up and share to, you can click on that account, select the option, and then click continue. And now using the Canva mobile app, you'll open that up and it will automatically help you post directly to Instagram via your mobile device. Others can be done on a desktop. For example, Facebook page, where it will ask you to connect your Facebook page. It will take you through that entire process. And once you do that, you'll be able to post directly to that social media. And there are a ton of other options as well. If I just scroll down and click more, you can see that there's other social media pages. You can save directly to cloud storage sites, messaging, all kinds of other things here that you might want to look through. And the other one that I briefly mentioned before is this public view link, which if I create that public view link and copy it, now this is a publicly viewable link that I can share with a team, with a coworker. People can look at it, react to it, etc. If they have a Canva account as well, they can do all of that. But that's a great way to just quickly share a design for feedback. All right, so let's hop into this animation that we want to save. So remember, we have this design that has 4 pages, but all I want to do is export or save this last boba animation. To do that, we can click share. We're going to click download, MP4 video, and then we're just going to select the last page. Obviously, unless you want to select multiple pages and combine them into one videos, and then click download. While that is saving, you can actually set up another download, which is cool, and I'm going to save it as an animated GIF. Same thing, current page and download. Videos take longer to save. The longer the video it is, the longer it's going to take to save. And this would be the same exact process for the other project with the Hawaii surf videos. So now the Canva video has downloaded, and this is an MP4, which is great for uploading to different social media platforms. You'll have to find out wherever you're posting these videos which one is right, a video or an animated GIF, because some places don't automatically play MP4 videos in a feed, for example. Places like Instagram and Facebook typically will, though. The quality of an MP4 will be higher than an animated GIF, which is a highly compressed format. And here we have that animated GIF, which GIFs are great because you can put it on a website, you can put it in an email, and it will automatically play the animation like this. And just to show you here on this video, I can click share, download, and again, MP4. I can select both pages and it will include that transition from one page to the next, etc. Or I can choose just one page if I just want to select one page to export. And that is how to export and share your Canva designs with the world. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next lessons. In this tutorial, I'm going to introduce you to the Magic Studio, which is Canva's AI-based tool. There are so many things you can do with this, and I hesitate to actually try to teach this because Canva has been consistently updating this with new tools. The results are getting better and better. So by the time you watch this, things will likely look different. The results will likely look better. But if you go to Magic Studio, you'll see that there's all kinds of tools, like creating designs from just a written prompt up here, to better ways to automatically resize and animate your designs, or generative AI tools like text to video or text to image. Let me click on text to image and we're going to try that out. Once we're here on this page, we have this text box where we can input our prompt. So I typed in a cartoon photographer snapping a photo of a giant bear. And just like any image generation tool, it might take a couple times to get the right result. So because the results were of an adult taking a photo, I kind of want it to be like a kid. So I've changed the prompt to a child photographer. And then we can adjust the styles here. So we can choose to be like a photo. We can choose a digital art. So I kind of like something more like playful like this. Maybe the anime might work kind of well. And then we're going to click generate again. So now something like this that I've now selected and I've added to our design looks pretty good. Now if I go back to any of my other designs, I just want to show you really quickly that here in the Elements tab, if we scroll down here, we can get to that AI image generator right here. So that's how you get to that. If you don't see this Magic Media button down there, just go to Elements and then go to AI image generator down here. And within any design, you can start using the AI features in Canva. All right, thank you so much. If there's any major updates to the AI tools in Canva, we'll make sure to let you know about them. Thanks for watching.